State. So I know you must have been following up on that gist. I was supposed to bring the gist to you earlier on Monday, but other gist and other things came up and couldn't bring it to you. So I said I must definitely carry up that gist. So you know how the sister was actually dismissed from the convent because she had to talk about how priests kind of talk or harass nun or sisters in the convent. Should I say harass? Okay, that's the word anyways, harassing sisters. So it could be sexual harassment and any form of harassment. And she described her own ordeal. She actually talked about how other sisters were being harassed. She talked about the process and everything. And, she said when she came into the convent early, she complained to the bishop, which is the highest in command there in the, in the Catholic space. So she complained to the bishop about it. She wrote a letter to the bishop, telling the bishop how she wasn't really satisfied. She was not happy about the whole thing happening in the convent, that whenever she goes to the priest, the Pope who was in charge, that he always dismissed her and talked to her rudely, and she wasn't happy about it. She also complained about how so many people were just talking to her, and so many of the priests, even the sisters she met there earlier, were talking to her rudely, and she wasn't comfortable about it, to the point that when you are not part of some persons doing some things, they single you out as black sheep. You might not really be a black sheep per se, but because you are not part of that crowd, you are being singled out as black sheep. So she was actually seen as a black sheep in the convent because she always speaks out. When things are not going right, she speaks out. If things are going, she also comments and all of that. So she was more like the black sheep. And so they had to single her out. Until this particular event that she couldn't take anymore. And she felt like, I have to speak out. I really need to talk about it. If nobody's going to talk about it, I, for one, will talk about it. How many sisters are being molested in the convent. And, when it comes to religious matters, one needs to be very careful how it is being treated. But in this case, I'm not going to be the only one talking, so that you not say, oh, you heard it from Ogochukwu's mouth that so-and-so is doing so-and-so. That's how we have comments. But before we even move over to the comments for today, I would like us to look at a video of the Reverend Sister being interviewed by Arise Television, in a program called Prime. And, she was interviewed and she spoke her mind. She actually spoke her mind. So I would like us to take a look at that short clip.
I find it a little funny because she's asking me for evidence, but in our world today, imagine me coming out and calling names and talking, it wouldn't make any sense. And of course, like she said, I could be sued. And it's not like the evidences do not exist. They do exist, but I cannot put them out there.
What kind of evidence do you say
I have
exists?
a video and an audio recording that showed where the head of department harassed me. And
right.
I can't put it out there. So she responded to what she saw online with so much clarity, as if she had spoken to me or anyone. Yet she talks about one-sided, story. So it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I joined the congregation of Mother of Perpetual Help of the Archangel Sisters in 2015. And in 2017, I was professed. And in 2023, I was finally professed. And after that, I experienced so many challenges. Of course, as a human person, your life cannot just be a bed of roses. And I had always confided in my superior general and my bishop. But the issue has always been that I was always complaining, according to them. Whereas what I sought was clarity. And
yeah, but what were you complaining to them about?
About our relationship with the priests in
right.
the diocese.
And what was that relation? What were you telling them about that relationship?
First, I think I wrote to the bishop that a priest was always shouting at me when I come to the office to talk to him. I worked under him, and it was just that I had to write because the bishop and many other people would not believe me, So I had to write to the bishop telling him that this priest was, harassing me and making me,
yeah, but
uncomfortable.
not sexually harassing.
Not sexually as at that point.
Right.
So when I
So
wrote
when
to
did
the
it get
bishop,
to sexual harassment? Because that's the really serious one. I mean,
yeah, I only reported verbally.
yeah, I mean, they were
So
bullying you
yes,
initially,
yes.
which is bad enough. But what really got, really bad is the sexual harassment one. I mean, that's a if it's true, that's a horrendous thing. I mean, so
I
tell us about that.
reported to my superior. I spoke to her about a priest who I was living in the same compound with.
Where was this?
In a community where I was in Nauchi.
Right, that's in Edo State.
Yes.
Right.
So I told her that on a fateful day, I went into his room and he tried to touch me, and I don't just understand if this is a norm, if it's a normal thing. And she just told me to just
Was that the
ignore
first
him.
time it had ever happened to you?
That wasn't the first time.
Right.
Well, according to her, this story is really very interesting because we've heard stories like this, but then they've all been swept under the carpet. Well, according to that story, according to that interview on Prime Time with Arise News, she said 2016, she recalled that 2016, the priest invited her to spend a week with him at his parish, which she declined, while another allegedly put his belt around her waist under the guise of taking her measurement for clothes. Okay. Also, according to her, the psychological impact of this incident was later described by church authorities as madness, leading to her dismissal from both her congregation and her teaching role. You see, things like this, that's what I say. Sometimes we do so much of religion and forget the basic human rights and needs. How can a lady who has sacrificed her time to say she wants to serve God and this is the way, you were the one who put up this whole sister thing and priest thing, or you don't know how to get married and all of that, and you have to remain, as I think there's a criteria to being a sister, maybe a virgin or something, depicting the character of the Virgin Mary and all of that, following that footstep. And people inside again are trying to defile all of these policies. And the end of the day, you describe it as madness. Honestly, I think we really need to move away from this whole religious thing. I don't want to use words, but honestly, I would have said religious madness, because that's what it looks like. And look at it from the humanity angle, because let's even take away, it's happened in the church. These things happen everywhere we find ourselves. It can happen at workplaces, it can happen in the market, it can happen in the school, and also anywhere. So let's not just start protecting. I think this is all about protecting the image of the church. But we forget that the church is not even a building, it is us. So if you defile the person who is the church, then please, what are you trying to protect? What image are you trying to protect? Well, it led to her dismissal, and I'm happy that she's actually talking about it. And again, another thing I like is her subtle voice. Like, she was so calm expressing herself, like she knows everything. Even though they say bring evidence, I'm sure she has a bit of the evidence, but this is not even about evidence right now. These are things that, it is glaring, it is clear, you can see it, you can actually feel it, you can relate with it, honestly. Well, we're going to be taking comments from social media as regards this situation, and I must tell you that social media is buzzing with a lot of comments. The first comment is coming from Regina Anthony, and Regina says, see, I'm a Catholic, but to the core, I beg your pardon. It said, I'm a Catholic to the core, but trust me when I say she ends lying. Too many things get swept under the rug in the name of protecting the church. It's time people start speaking up and holding those in power accountable. This is coming from a parishioner, a Catholic parishioner there. The second comment is coming from Posh Anderson, and Posh says, in fact, one Reverend Father make my 50-something-year-old cousin no marry till she died. She and her father were deeply, Reverend Father, please, when you put in, don't say father, so we don't just mistake for her biological father. So she and her Reverend Father were deeply in love, and Father kept her to himself, doing everything for her, took absolute care of her emotionally, sexually, financially, and otherwise. Keep resting, Auntie N. He ends his quote. You can imagine, you said that this Auntie N, I know she's dead right now, but this Auntie N that knows that Reverend Father can never get married. How come you decided to join yourself with Reverend Father? You stayed with him, and you stayed till you were 50 ganga until you lost your life. I'm so sorry. Rest in peace to Auntie N, and any other person following a Reverend Father should know that these people are supposed to be, sacred people and not just do anything. So please, it's that you are bringing up a curse on yourself by following a Reverend Father. Please avoid them. They are married to Jesus and never can be out of Jesus. But whoever is a Reverend Father and wants to leave Jesus Christ, please live in peace. Don't start harassing people in convent. Live in peace. It's not a do or die affair. I'm sure nobody is chaining anybody. Understand that sometimes you see some children, the parents will tell you, their mothers will tell you, oh, this particular one that I've given birth to, I've already given him to Christ. This one is going to serve God, or is going to serve whatever. So from childhood, they start grooming that child to be a priest, a Catholic priest. Please, I feel like we shouldn't force children. Don't compel them to do whatever it is they don't want to do. When they are growing up, you only guide them towards their choices. Don't compel anybody. The last comment for this conversation is coming from Amarachi. And Amarachi says, I'm a Catholic, and if the priests are guilty, let them face the law. And if the Church Archdiocese of Edo is covering them, shame on them as well. I have heard stories of priests molesting females, so let them look into it. Sister won't just come and lay false claims and call names if she didn't have evidence. If the Archdiocese dig deeper, they might find even more victims that can't speak up because of fear of victimization or lack of evidence. That's it. Fear of victimization, fear of, oh, I'm going to spoil the Catholic, the church. Oh, what will my parents say? Oh, I failed my parents. Oh, I failed my father. Oh, I failed this. Speaking for yourself is very, very important. This is human right. This is not just a religious thing. It is your right as a human that when you've been molested, please speak up. Let us find solutions to these things, because the person doing that will be feeling comfortable, especially when he's doing it and getting away with it, or when she's doing it and getting away with it. This is not just for only one part, or for the male, or for Reverend Father. No, we've heard about sisters also molesting fellow sisters, which is very, very wrong. So when you see something that is wrong, say something. That's just it, like, period. Anyways, we're moving over to the second topic for today. And this one, Agbada don't wear raincoats. As it is right now in Abia State, the Abia residents protest over electricity hike. 70,000 naira salary, 100,000 naira light bill. Abia residents protest hike in electricity tariff. Residents of Abia State hit the streets in the afternoon of the 14th day of October to protest the sharp increase in electricity bills by the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC. In a video making the rounds online, protesters could be heard chanting minimum wage 70,000 naira, NEPA bill 100,000 naira, agent fee, that agent fee, 200,000 naira, caution fee 300,000 naira. They marched through major streets. Many described the new electricity tariff as unbearable, calling on both the state government and power authorities to address the sudden hike. Let's take a look at the video.
Agent fee, 200,000. Pension fee, 200,000. We don't go pay. 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 NEPA bill. NEPA bill. 70,000. NEPA bill. 70,000. NEPA bill. 70,000. Agent fee. fee. 200,000. We no go pay. Minimum wage 70,000. Minimum wage 70,000. NEPA bill 50,000. NEPA bill 50,000. Agency 50,000. Tuition fee 100,000. Minimum wage 70,000. Minimum wage 70,000. NEPA bill 100,000. NEPA bill 50,000. Agency 100,000. Agency 100,000. Tuition fee 100,000. Tuition fee 100,000. Minimum wage 70,000.
All right, we've seen that video, but you see this same state, this particular state, there was a time they also carried placard. They went on the street and said they don't have light. As a matter of fact, I also experienced this state, Abia State. When I went to Abia State and I stayed for like about a week, I remember that there was no light. Thank God it was, a hotel, because they had to run gen all through. Now you have light. You are complaining that the light you have, the hike in electricity bill is too much. They should reduce it. But then Abia State, when your governor came in, you were all happy that now you have 24 hours light. We could not hear word though. On Instagram, everywhere, Facebook, Abia is the best.